India and Russia on Tuesday sealed a USD of $500 million deal for a construction of 2 missile frigates in Goa for the Indian Navy, sending a clear signal of continuing with high-level defense collaborations notwithstanding the US warning of sanctions. The official said that the agreement for manufacturing of 2 Talvar-class warships was signed between the defense PSU Goa Shipyard Ltd and the Russia-straightened defense major Rosoboronexport under the government-to-government frameworks for defense cooperation. Under the deal, Russia will provide design, technology known and how to make it, and key materials to GSL for construction of the ships in India. The ships will be fitted with most advanced missiles and other weapon systems. We have finalized a USD of $500 million deal with Russia for the construction of 2 warships in Goa, said CMD of GSL Shekhar Mittal. He said the construction of the ships will begin in 2020 and the first one will be ready for induction in 2026, while the second one will be ready by 2027. The two sides already finalized another deal amounting about USD of $1 billion, under which Russia will be supplying 2 frigates to India by 2023. The Tuesday's agreement, or the last week agreement, came nearly 6 weeks after India signed an agreement with Russia to buy a batch of S-400 air defense systems of missiles at a cost of USD $5 billion. India is going ahead with mega defense deals with Russia, disregarding the warnings by the US of sanctions. The Trump administration has put several Russian firms under sanctions and are countering America's adversaries through Sanction Act, or the CATS Act. The US said the countries engaged with Russia's defense firms may also face actions under CATS Act. India has been hoping to get a waiver from the US on the deals it was signing with Russia. Russia has been India's largest defense supplier, and also the defense and the security cooperation has been on the upswing between the two countries in the last few years. Yesterday, the Russian defense major Rosoboronexport emerged as the lowest bidder in the Indian Army tender for the procurement of a batch of short-range air defense missile system, said some officials from India. The other contenders for the deal were the Swedish firm Saab and French military firm MBDA. The size of the contract is likely to be around $3 billion. So what do you think of India-Russia finalized a USD $500 million deal even after the warning of US sanctions, and India and Russia are getting closer and buying arms and weapons and missile systems more than it's expected, with more closer deals? Less than a month after Modi declared to the World Economic Forum that India was open for businesses, Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India has raised import duties to the highest in the 3 decades of India, setting the stage for the protracted trade battle. As he prepares to seek the re-election next year, Prime Minister Modi has been instead by the global way of protectionism that could threaten the foreign direct investments India needs to achieve the double-digit growth. He has made it more expensive to import parts for automobiles, cameras, televisions, electricity meters and smartphones, risking trade disputes from the allies like US and Germany to rivals like China. India has taken a dramatic protectionist turn, Richard Rosow, an Indian policy expert at the Washington-based Center for Strategic and International Studies, wrote in a note. The scale of India's protectionist leap is surprising and likely to elicit a strong response from the United States and other major trading partners. President Donald Trump of US signaled that tit-for-tat duties against India's barriers on motorcycles, while the German ambassador to India, Martin Ney, questioned the decision to raise the customs duty on the import of automobile components. The US Commerce Department on Tuesday said it was examining the import of welded pipes from India and the 5 other countries. All this could add up to bad news for India at the World Trade Organization. As the Indian economy is falling down because of Narendra Modi's defaults and useless reforms, this has accelerated at WTO, said Rahul Shukla, Delhi-based executive director at the PricewaterhouseCoopers Private Limited. If they really want to help local industries, there is so much more that could be done. and it's true that the industry needs help, but these are the highest barriers we have seen in a long while. India's move comes as it faces the widest trade deficit in 3 years and its resilient rupee. Data from the government is due Thursday, and though it is expected to show a pullback for January, India's yawning deficit with Asia's powerhouses like China is a matter of concern. Indian imports from China has soared in the past few years, outpacing export and leaving the local industries, especially the medium to small scale industries, gasping for survival. Exports from $2.3 trillion economy have slowed at the time when the global economy is ticking higher. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley announced in February in his budget speech that the barrier would push the government's flagship Make in India program to encourage local manufacturing. Yet some believe the electoral costs incurred by the Prime Minister Modi after the chaotic roll out of the national's goods and service taxes, including the significant disruption to the business with the demonetization and some cow-related issues and other details of useless policies in the Indian government, may have driven the government to resort to protectionism. The barrier will remain in the place for another 2 to 3 years to help small and medium companies, said Vanaja Sarna, the chairwoman of India's Central Board of Excise and Customs, in an interview. But the move may end hurting the local businesses, said Bipul Chatterjee, executive director at the New Delhi's based think tank Cuts International. A hike of 15 to 20% is not much for Chinese and the South Korean companies. They can easily absorb it. This will end up hurting India's competitiveness more than the government imagines, he said. More or less, the useless policies of GST, demonetization, and the Make in India schemes are not making India richer and not growing India's economy. Instead, it is making India's falling economy to the worst of its history because of one man's ruling India with no democracy policies. So what do you think of the useless demonetization, GSTs, and policies related to WTOs and FDA's investments and foreign deficits, and the factors of raising the import tax duties, which will not give India's Make in India policy to grow and making Indian economy to be a fall down?
Middle-income countries face a unique set of fiscal challenges. Investing in physical and social infrastructure is crucial for development, stability, and financing the budget. But raising capital is not easy. Governments must fund the projects at the lowest possible cost, with limited resources, deepening domestic markets, borrowing internationally, and developing capacity to handle more complex financial instruments.
The World Bank Treasury Advisory is uniquely positioned in the government debt management field because we use what we call a practitioner-to-practitioner model. It's practical, it's pragmatic, we share our own skills because we do exactly what debt management offices and ministries of finance do. We manage about $200 billion of a debt portfolio for IBRD, one of the member institutions of World Bank. We manage another $500 billion of a derivatives portfolio that we use for hedging, for asset and liability management. So my colleagues and I like that we can share this knowledge from a practical point of view with our clients in debt management offices and in ministries of finance.
The World Bank Treasury Government Debt and Risk Management Program supports partner countries for all government debt and risk management related needs. Once countries become part of the Government Debt and Risk Management Program, they receive just-in-time technical assistance from practitioner experts for all debt management needs.
The GTRM program, I think, unlike many other programs, is offering programmatic support. What we value very much is that it is a learning program, so there is a constant dialogue between the partner countries, the World Bank and SECO.
The program covers the full spectrum of debt management activities. So it includes, for example, the development of a debt management strategy, the implementation of a such strategy that may include work on developing an annual borrowing plan, on the development of the domestic market, but also accessing the international capital markets, derivatives markets, and so on. Also incorporate the risks that come from the contingent liabilities and bring this comprehensive view of the assets and liabilities management.
GDRM program's approach is based on providing expertise, building trust, and long-term relationships.
World Bank has expertise, and it is not just the expertise within the bank itself, but also the relationships that the bank have through member states of the bank, and therefore the expertise that are in debt management offices around the world.
Peer learning is an important part of the GDRM experience, connecting countries facing similar issues and providing a platform for in-depth exchange of ideas and experiences.
We also recognize that because of the skill level of the consultants, they actually learned and understood the contextual situation of Ghana, because every country is different. So you will notice that the attention to detail and how they went on the program with us was a recognition of our country context.
The programmatic approach that we adopt is to undertake a diagnostic of the country, then develop a reform plan, a work program in collaboration with the country representatives, but then also to be there with them during the implementation of those reforms. To support middle-income countries in becoming more resilient against fiscal shocks, this is what the whole GDRM program is about.
Post your comments below, and if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and follow us on social networks and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching. This is WC Daily. Think big, think different. Bye.
You